Things have been a little on edge within the Federation for a while now. In fact, we could probably trace that back at least 5 years, to the attempted assassination of the former president, Jasmina Halsey. Now, I know what you're thinking. Civil war seems a bit of an overstated claim, and you would probably be right. The chance of the Federation descending into civil war are certainly slim. However, what we do have here is a prominent member of the Federation enlisting high-level politicians and even high-level military members in order to stage an attempted overthrow of the government. These events have led to a somewhat precarious situation, which brings us to this week's community goal, a fight between the Federation and those who attempted to overthrow the previous president. The individual in question then is the character known as Jupiter Rochester. In elite lore, this guy is highly influential. He is the former CEO of ship manufacturer Core Dynamics. You've likely flown a few of their ships at least, such as the Eagle Mark II and the Vulture. Perhaps more importantly for this case though, Core Dynamics also manufacture the Federal Assault Ship and the Federal Corvette. Some special attention should be paid to the fact that Core Dynamics also manufacture the Capital Class Farragut battlecruiser, the ship which forms the Federation's main line of defense and attack no less. Jupiter Rochester then is now in hiding in the star system HIP 54530, and you can see me in that system right now. This system has up until this point been permit locked. No one has ever been able to get here, as it's on one of those areas where permits are not issued. That changed today then, as all players have now been temporarily issued with a permit for access to this system. So you can now have a choice: help Jupiter Rochester or assist the Federation in overthrowing him. So what's all the fuss about? What exactly has the guy done wrong, you may ask? Well, he stands accused of an assassination attempt of the former president, Jasmina Halsey. He worked hand in hand with the Federation Fleet Admiral Lucas Vincent in orchestrating the destruction of Starship One. The goals of this assassination plot were to replace the president with someone a bit more sympathetic to the aims of Core Dynamics. The new president, Zachary Hudson, continued to fund Jupiter's corporation via the Navy's continued purchase of Core Dynamics ships. The goal then, as always, was about money and power. Now, an arrest warrant has been issued for Jupiter Rochester, and he really hasn't taken the charges very well at all. He's fled away from the arrest and taken to hiding within this previously permit-locked star system. Loyalists to Jupiter's cause, that's former members and departments of Core Dynamics, have also fled along with him, forming a new organisation known as Jupiter Division. So here in HIP 54530, you can side with either Jupiter Division, just as I've done here, or you can stand with the Federation, who are fighting a proxy war through the local manufacturer Silver Legal. So why am I fighting for Jupiter Division? Well, I think a little destabilisation of the Federation might make for some interesting changes to the game. That might be a bit of a long shot, but you never know. Meanwhile, based on the current levels of interaction with the two objectives, the two separate community goals ongoing side by side here, it seems that the player base is fairly evenly split between supporting the Jupiter Division or the Federation themselves. Anyone that helps either faction and reaches at least the 75% threshold will be awarded a permanent permit to the current star system, something that might be worth having if events continue to spiral. There will also be a reduction on outfitting costs once the community goal is complete. Now, Elite has always been about conflict. Federal-aligned minor factions pitting themselves against other federal-aligned minor factions is nothing new. The difference with this event, however, is that it is a continuation of an old plotline, one which saw the attempted assassination of one president and the successful installation of another president. So whilst it's fair to say that Zachary Hudson was more or less given his position legally, the events leading to him becoming president were anything but legal. It's entirely possible then that this may have future repercussions. I wouldn't at all be surprised to see factions within the elite galaxy starting to question the legitimacy of Hudson's presidency. It's also entirely possible that Jupiter Rochester doesn't disappear even if he loses the current community goal. He is, after all, highly influential and has a huge fortune and a massive reach thanks to the size of the base of his loyalists. Now, like many of you out there, I'm always hopeful that Frontier take these plot lines in a direction that has wide-reaching repercussions. Perhaps at this point that's being a bit too optimistic, but you never really know. Ultimately, with Odyssey arriving in the not-too-distant future, we already know that the conflicts will gain a pretty big focus. We also know that existing plot lines will tie into Odyssey, so just maybe this is something that will have a physical impact in the future. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time.